How's it going, people? Welcome back to the Supporters Club. It's been a little while, but there's a lot going on at Arsenal right now. So I've got Curtis with me today, back again. Appreciate it, Curtis. Jordan, once again, thank you.
Yes, boss.
And a debut for Miles from Filthy Fellas.
Thank you,
Appreciate you coming down, bro.
No problem.
But I want to start with you, Curtis, because you've been very vocal about Jose Mourinho and an advocate of his possibly taking up the Arsenal managerial position, but he's ended up down the road at the Spuds. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, look, man, his CV speaks for itself. He wins trophies everywhere he goes. I know a lot of people have said that, you know, he's finished and he wasn't great at Man United, but I still think he did all right there. And I just think the Arsenal job at the moment, it's about more than coaching. I think we need someone with big shoulders who can come in, control the dressing room and build going forward. And I just think Mourinho would have been perfect. And I think he's motivated by people questioning if he's still got it or not. He's had a good start at Tottenham, unfortunately, and I hope it doesn't work out there. But I think he would have been, you know, a great
No, I think you're right, because the questioning of his ability definitely builds him up. But the question of his ability also takes him down, as we've seen at Chelsea, United and Real Madrid. Yeah, well, quickly, I don't want to stick on Mourinho, but do you think we missed out on Mourinho, Jordan?
No, swerve the bullet. I think that I understand the reasons why a lot of Arsenal fans like Curtis were pro-Mourinho, because it's been so long since we've had a manager that can make the fan base and the club feel like we can be winners again. But the reason why I didn't want him was twofold. First of all, one, I think that I value how a club makes me feel on a level with winning. So for me, it's not a thing of win at all costs. When Arsenal win the Premier League, I don't get a winner's medal, I don't get a money bonus, I don't get anything tangible. But what I want is moments. So winning the Premier League, winning every game 1-0, you're champions, you're the winners. But how did you feel that season? Did you enjoy it? Were there moments? And I don't think he would give our fan base moments during the season beyond 3 points. And the second reason is, putting emotion to one side, I think he's done. I think he's done. I think he's genuinely at the top level done. He might give Tottenham a little League Cup or FA Cup. I think what we need is more than just a League Cup. If we want a League Cup this or next season, would that really appease our fan base? Yeah. I don't think it would. So I think our needs are very different. Tottenham need to win something, anything. He will probably do that. For us, I think we need a much more of a long-term strategy of a plan and a change in culture and ethos, which I don't think that he can really engender.
Yeah. Let's finish with you, Miles, on Jose
Same,
Mourinho.
Everything that Jordan said to me is just perfectly, sounds great. Everything you just said. Like, Mourinho, I think he's done.
He summed it up well, innit?
Yeah, he's finished, man. He came in as the special one and now he's just the ancient one. He's just leave him, just leave it alone.
You see, the way I see it as the perfect partnership, because I agree with you two. I think he's done. And what better way to prove that he's done than at Tottenham? That's how I see it.
Right.
I hope I'm right. And at the end of the day, obviously, we look back in a couple of years and we'll see how it pans out for them. But let's get to Arsenal now. And a few of the points you made about ready-made for the Premier League, a point to prove because of United and the way he was let go. I'm a big advocate of Pochettino. And I think those same reasons can be said for Pochettino. He was let go by Tottenham in the international break after what you'd say is Tottenham's best 5 years in the last how long? He wasn't. He was
60 years.
Time,
definitely in our lifetime.
The club was great.
Do you get me? So I feel like he was hard done by there. I feel like they took a massive risk. I believe it'll bite them in the backside eventually. But now we've got Pochettino available. What's your thoughts on Pochettino?
I understand your reasons. The difference with him and like Mourinho in that sense is, number one, Poch hasn't won anything. He has improved Tottenham and made them a much better team.
Was he supported enough to say he hasn't won anything though?
Probably not. But I still feel with the team he had, they should have won an FA Cup, a League Cup. They got to a Champions League final, so they clearly have quality there. My worry with Poch is I feel he's a little bit ingrained in Tottenham. I feel like he genuinely loves that club. And coming to us, would he have the same feeling with us? I know he would have a point to prove with Daniel Levy because they kind of fell out in quite a bad way, but I'm just not sure whether the fan base would give him the patience. I think if we lost a couple of games, it'd be like, you know, that Tottenham, whatever came in. I get your point. He's a very good coach. I'm just not sure whether that's what we need to be taking their leftovers, if you like.
I agree, because our fans are very volatile, and I could say the same for any manager that comes in. I think it'll only take 2 games for our fans to jump down someone's neck. And me included at times. You know what I mean? Obviously, emotions
You
involved.
need it at times.
I need it at times. I'm just trying to be happy, do you get me? I'm just trying to be happy. But obviously with Pochettino, I agree with you. I thought he was ingrained with Tottenham and the fans, but the way he was let go,
I think that's gone out the window
opened
now.
the light for me. I never thought Pochettino would be available to us, even if he left Tottenham. I thought Man United next, Real Madrid next.
Yeah.
But obviously you're nodding there, Miles. What's your thoughts on Pochettino?
Even when he was at Tottenham, I rated him. Like, what you call a spade, what he was doing at Tottenham was
100%.
was magnificent, to be fair. Like, as Arsenal fans, we know, we was looking over there thinking, damn.
And that's hard for us to say.
That's hard to say.
You get me?
Because what he was working with was the bare minimum. He was getting youth academy players and great players working, and he has a system. That's something that we've been lacking since Wenger. And even when we had Wenger, the later years, the system was dying out. I think if Pochettino comes now, I think he can turn Arsenal, not Arsenal into his Arsenal, but he could get the ethos and he could get something started again.
Identity.
Yeah, the identity. Yeah, I think he could get it started again. I think he's a class manager and he gets players playing for him. That's the main thing. That's what we're lacking right now. So I would take Pochettino personally.
Would he be your number one?
My number one, he just came out and said he doesn't want to leave, is Brendan Rodgers. That's my number one. If they said anyone right now, I'll take Brendan Rodgers. But someone that's available, I would take Pochettino. And then my third person.
We'll touch on Rodgers in a sec because he's been linked closely as well with Arsenal. But Jordan,
I think there are a few
Pochettino.
things. I think that it's interesting you're talking about who's available. I think if Arsenal pertain to being a big club, and we say we're a big club, I have doubts about that. But if we say we're a big club, you don't worry so much about who's available. If you're a big club, push out your chest, cut the check, and take a man's manager.
That's what I.
And people will say, "Oh, it's not that simple." It is.
It is.
It really is, you know. We pay a lot of money to go see Arsenal play every single week. They have money. If you really want to go and take a man's... There's probably only 2 managers in the league who can't get. Pep and Klopp. Fair enough. For obvious reasons, they're winning. Everybody else, if you're Arsenal, go and get them. My first choice would be Pochettino. And people would always say, oh, you know, the Espanyol Barca thing. He said he would never manage at Barcelona.
Yeah.
I think he would come to Arsenal if we approached him like a big club.
Yeah.
Go and make him the highest paid manager in the league, whatever. Go and promise him a big budget and go and say to him, look, we will give you a 5-year plan. We'll work with you to make a plan to make Arsenal the biggest team in the country. We will do that with you. We'll be patient because I think with Pochettino, you'll see progression. And Curtis says he's not won anything. I'll take that. That's fair enough. But what I look for, which is more important than winning things in this instance, is body of work. Look at his body of work. And the body of work that he's done at Spurs is comparable to an FA Cup. Over 5 years, what he did. Spurs were a joke club.
Yeah, come on.
A club that were known for, they were a cup team that were known for playing good football. They've always had good attacking players, but couldn't keep clean sheets. He, I think, in 2 years had them first or second best defence in the league. They were a serious team, not only in the Premier League, but in Europe as well. Champions League finalists with no money spent.
Not £1.
Come on.
That's amazing.
That body of work for me is what I would look at more so than what has he won. Because if you won a League Cup, would that make you think, oh yeah, we want him now? No. It wouldn't make a difference, would it?
Yeah, because even us in the FA Cup, I look back at the FA Cup with regret because it kept Wenger on for a couple of years. So those are not the cups that are going to fill us with the joy we want as Arsenal fans now, the joy we've been waiting for over a decade now.
And the fact that he prioritised the Champions League and the Premier League and mugged off those 2 cups, I kind of rate that.
Yeah.
That's what big clubs and big
Showing
people
ambition.
do. Yeah.
Showing
Get them little idiot cups. Okay, Spurs, it's maybe different because they've not won anything for such a long time. But his mentality was, why are we messing with these little DB cups?
Yeah.
He made them a
the big
force.
thing.
He made them a force.
And respected.
Yeah.
He made them respected.
Even in Europe now, it's just like, it's crazy.
That's mad. Just from that
They're
one
respected
Champions
in
League
Europe,
run,
yeah.
they've probably got more respect in Europe than Arsenal right now.
Of course.
Do you not think people are slightly overhyping him though? I mean, I know what you're saying. He has made them a force, but the fact you haven't won anything.
That's important.
That's still what you're in the game for, isn't it? At the end of the day, to win trophies.
I agree with you to a certain extent.
If you are a big club as well.
Yeah, you are a big club.
You've got to see things in the trophy room.
But they're not. That's the point.
He made them
They're not.
contenders.
But were they that bad? Remember Harry Redknapp's Tottenham? There was a good Tottenham side
was
as
until
well.
they sold Bale, and then the money they
went
got from
out.
Bale,
They were an
wasted it.
exciting team under Redknapp. Were they a serious team? They weren't a serious team.
Are they serious now?
They finished top 4 in the last 5 years, Champions League final.
They're the also-rans, man. You know, like when Usain Bolt wins the gold medal, it's the guy who wins the bronze, man. You don't really know who they are, but he's picking
But
up...
if I come second and I've had no training, and I've been training for 6 months, and I finish second in the Olympic final to Bolt, you rate that.
You rate that.
Do you know what I mean?
Come. I think it's going to come. It's like, look at Klopp before Liverpool.
Yeah.
All his finals, I think he lost like 8 finals or 7 finals in a
He
row.
won a league title.
And he lost the final with Liverpool that year. He came.
Exactly.
With Sevilla.
He did, yes. And like you said, he did win a title with Borussia Dortmund. And two, you need to breed that winning mentality, which Klopp did have. He did bring it to them. But Pochettino, eventually, he's going to get it. And once he gets it, who's going to stop him? Because he has that winning mentality. He got to a... We've said it many times, but I can't stress enough. He got Tottenham to a Champions League final. They was 90 minutes away from being technically the best team in Europe.
But then I could argue that Tottenham side is quite a good team, let's be honest.
Which he built.
Why?
Yeah, he did build it. But at the end of the day...
On a shoestring budget.
I think that team should be able to achieve things. They got one of the best strikers.
Achieve what?
They should be able to win things.
And who's that due down to?
Win what?
But I reckon, well, if they got to a Champions League final, you can win the final. They didn't turn up in the final.
They probably faced the one team that was probably in Europe better than them.
But they didn't play well that day.
They didn't, and they bottled it.
They did bottle it.
But the point being is that you're saying they should have won something with that team. I'm saying win the Premier League? No. Because City and Liverpool are better.
Your transfer window determines...
No.
Your transfer window in the summer determines your realistic ambition. And Tottenham transfer window every summer, realistically, the ambition didn't even match top 4. But Pochettino done that. And the way I look at Arsenal, I don't want to stick on Pochettino for too long because there's other candidates. But like you said with the also-rans and he took them so far, I believe we need the exact same thing. I believe the board is the main problem at Arsenal Football Club. If we can bring in a manager that gets the best out of this budget, gets the best out of this team and squad over the next 2-3 years, the limit for us is 3rd place. That's the limit. Even if he does wonders at this club, the limit is 3rd place, similar to Tottenham. And then it's up to us fans to say, is it Pochettino that's holding us back, or is it the board not supporting him? Now, the Tottenham fans, they realise it's the board not supporting Pochettino, but the furore about Mourinho coming in, they've ignored that now. They think it's a big move. We need a manager that's done exactly what Pochettino done at Tottenham over the last 5 years.
You used the word system earlier on. I agree. We need a manager that has a plan. That's the thing.
And you can trust him.
Well, yeah. I don't think it's about the next guy's got to come in and win something in his first 2 years. I think Arsenal is so far off the pace. We need a plan. And I think Pochettino, his 5 years, despite working against a board that made it difficult at times for him, he had a plan. And year on year, and they got better. I think Arsenal need the next guy's got to have a plan. And that's why Rodgers and Pochettino, for me, are the 2 front runners, because you've seen what they can do over 4 or 5 years at a club. They improve players, they improve clubs. So we need a plan.
So we'll move on to Rodgers now. My opinion on Rodgers is good manager, talent. He's definitely talented and he plays good football. But I think the overhyped question about Pochettino can be linked to Rodgers as well. I look at Rodgers at Liverpool, win rate of 50%. He finished 7th in his first season, 2nd in his second season, and 6th in his 3rd season.
But when he finished 2nd in the 2nd season, wasn't that due to goal difference? That was with Man City, wasn't it?
I can't remember if it was due to...
When Gerrard slipped.
Gerrard slipped and they lost the 3-0
That's just unfortunate.
It was a point,
but they lost the 3-0 lead.
Because goal difference.
The 3-0 lead to Crystal Palace with 10 minutes to go. Doesn't that sound so Arsenal?
That's
proper.
Do you get what I mean? But I'm not dismissing Rodgers, because I'd actually take him as well. It's just that I don't believe he has the credibility that a Poch has.
But you know what? It's funny you mentioned that game, the 3-0 and the 3-3, because one of the things that was labelled at Rodgers for years and years was that his teams, he makes players better, his teams play good brand of football, Swansea, Liverpool, even Celtic. They score lots of goals, but they always let in goals. That year that Liverpool bottled the league under Rodgers, they scored so many goals,
100 plus.
but they let in so many
and
goals
does that
as well.
suit us?
Well, this is the thing. But what I'm seeing at Leicester is he's learned.
Fair enough.
Look at his Leicester team. They don't let in lots of goals anymore. So I'm liking that. Yeah, before score lots of goals, but now he's showing me that he can actually build a defence.
He can.
Well, you say that, but then I've looked at Leicester's transfers as well, and Ricardo Pereira, their left back, no, their right back, he didn't sign him.
No.
Charles Soyuncu, he didn't sign him. So how did he build that? They already had Chilwell. And they already had Johnny Evans.
It's
But he
not
signed
just about what you sign, it's about what you do with it.
That was last summer.
Was that last summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about what you do with those players. So, okay, but he came into a very good squad, granted. But I believe that Arsenal, out of the two managers we've just named, I actually weirdly think that Rodgers is more gettable than Poch. I don't think Poch will come to Arsenal, not because of the Tottenham link. I think he knows there's two bigger clubs he can get in the summer, United and Bayern. Do you know what I mean? So, and maybe Real, but I think he'll be at Bayern or United next year. Rodgers, he's a cat. He's always pouncing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't think
he needs to pounce over here.
One reason why I don't think he will come to Arsenal is because for his brand, it will be bad for his brand because he'll be known then as a guy that just jumps after. Do you know what I mean? I think that might be bad for him.
It might be bad for his brand at the present moment, but if he goes on and wins us trophies, then no one's going to even remember that, to be fair.
I think personally he would come in a heartbeat. I think he knew when he left Celtic to go to Leicester, that was the stepping stone. He couldn't go from Celtic to a top 4 English club, but getting to Leicester, doing well. And he's been flirting with it. You can hear it in the interviews. He's saying, you know, I've got the clause in the contract. He's leaving the door open.
He is.
If you want to go and put the money down, I'm interested.
But then I look at Leicester's last 4 years, and since they've won the league, can we say we're better than Leicester?
I was going to make that point. We as fans have to say to ourselves...
Is it a stepping stone to us, or is he going from Leicester to...
We're a bigger club, but if you're Rodgers and you've got what you've got there, the board, they spend money at Leicester, they back their managers. Arsenal are a bigger club, granted, but we're in pieces. Is it worth going to Arsenal? It may work out, it may not. Or do you try and build something with Leicester and make Leicester an established top 16 in the next 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I would still go to Arsenal.
Move.
Yeah, because I just think with Leicester you can only take them so far.
Why?
Because I think their team's heavily built around Vardy. I don't think.
But they can replace Vardy.
Yeah.
He's hard to replace.
Not that hard.
At Leicester,
they're trying to now with Jose Perez. They're trying to bring him.
He's
in
not
next.
in Vardy's league though.
He's not.
And Leicester can go out and buy a £35 million striker in the summer.
Yeah,
But what does
definitely.
a 35 million striker give you really? Nowadays, top strikers cost 70, 80 million.
It depends how shrewd you are in the market, because Charles Soyuncu was about 18 mil, I think it was, and at the end of the day, he's replaced the 80 million Harry Maguire just like that. No one misses him at
There's
Leicester.
players out there, man.
I just think if he goes to Arsenal, he knows the sky's the limit if things work out. At Leicester,
That's the
I think
thing, if-
he can only go so far
Or it
with
could
them.
ruin his career.
He could, yeah.
It could ruin
And
his
he
The thing is,
knows.
if he goes to Arsenal, and he can end up back at a Leicester type of club if he leaves. You know, the Arsenal job isn't always going to be there. for him.
Potentially, but look at Moyes. Moyes left at Everton, Man United, got sacked by Real Sociedad.
And
He
done.
went to West Ham, didn't he, for a little bit?
Done
Yeah,
there.
but West Ham is lower tier
So
compared
that
to
risk
Leicester.
he took, or the opportunity he took, ended up backfiring in the long term for him, in my opinion. So
Rodgers strikes me as I think he's an ambitious man. He's a little bit cheeky as well, isn't he? I think.
It just
I think he would take the job. Man.
He's a cat, he'll pounce.
He
I'm
would
telling you.
pounce.
For me, it just depends how bold he wants to be. He could stay at Leicester and just be comfortable, and he's got something to build for the next 5-4 years with less expectations than Arsenal. Or he can come to us and put himself in the firing line, because it's a firing line job.
Definitely,
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
Everyone's going to be watching, and he could take us to the next level, or he might not succeed. But it's up to him.
So let me ask you, Turkish, if you're Arsenal and you want Rodgers, do you say it's now or never, or do you wait to the end of the season and potentially miss out on Champions League football? Because top 4 is looking, it might be gone, but it's not gone. You get a good guy in this week, he can maybe put runs together and get 4th place.
Yeah.
Or do you wait until the summer and say, we'll wait for you, but you risk then tailing off finishing
the
8th,
managerial
9th?
position at Arsenal is so volatile that I want us to bring in a new manager now and
Definitely.
give him this 6 months as a clean slate, as in do what you can do in the next 6 months. Even if we finish 6th, it is what it is. But do something that you can build on in the summer, whether it's Rodgers, Pochettino, whether we get Nuno Santo, whoever
So what
it
if they
is.
say, I'll come, but not till May?
Then at the end of the day, we can't be sitting around waiting, especially for a Brendan Rodgers. We're Arsenal football.
I would
club.
wait.
Like you,
I'd wait as well.
I'd wait
No,
six
I
months.
would-
Get the right guy.
I wouldn't wait.
Write the
I'd wait.
season off, get the right guy.
Get the right
like you
guy.
won't
You
know
don't
if
wanna
it's
be
the
Man
right
United.
guy until you take that risk.
And that's the
Well,
risk.
okay, get your first choice then. Get the
Do you-
guy you really want.
Do you think
even
Rodgers
if
is
you've gotta
first
wait.
choice?
Well, I'm saying if he's Arsenal's first
Yeah.
choice, I would wait.
I'd wait 6 months.
I'd
I
wait
get
6
that.
months.
If I have a first choice, then I'll potentially wait for that first choice because it's about getting it right now. If I'm Kroenke, there's pressure on me because I've got it wrong with Wenger, leaving him on too long. I got it wrong with Emery. I'm getting it wrong in the structure level.
Yeah.
This appointment
Has
is
to go
vital
right.
for him.
Yeah.
And us as fans, we need to realise that if he doesn't get it right this time, it's not Rodgers' fault, it's not Pochettino. Whoever takes over, it's not Nuno Sant, it's the board's fault.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to focus on next. So this decision, you're right. I'd probably wait for my first choice, whoever their first
Yeah,
choice
definitely
is.
have to wait.
So you'd
because
leave
it's-
Freddie
it's
until the end
longer,
of the season?
longer.
Yeah.
That's a big
Who's your
risk.
first choice, Curtis? Because I haven't asked.
I think right now I would go for Rodgers as well.
That's your first choice.
And that's not because I think he's an amazing manager. Just looking at the other targets, it's like, who is the right manager to bring in?
Would you get Allegri?
No.
I'm just not sure about Allegri. The lack of English, the fact he's been at a club where you can't really get it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, how can you not win the Italian league with Juventus?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good players
So I'm
they
just not sure how
Conte
good
built
he
that
is.
side as well.
Conte did
Yeah, he
build
did,
it. I
yeah.
think
But
he's
to
the
be fair,
better manager
He
out
did
there
get 2 Champions League finals with Juventus.
He
Conte
did,
didn't.
but another nearly man, innit? You know.
But 2 Champions League finals in 4 years is still quite
No,
impressive.
no one
Yeah, it's
remembers you
impressive.
being in
It's
the final.
impressive.
You know, when we lost in the Champions League final, I took no joy out of that day.
Yeah.
You know,
One thing I know that Allegri will do is shore up our defence because he sets up his teams defensively quite well. But we play expansive football that we want to.
Being Italian as well, that's his thing. Like.
Yeah, that's their thing.
disciplinarians,
Set up
aren't
from
they,
the
as
back.
well?
And
I don't want Allegri though.
I only mentioned Allegri because I don't want him, but I know Rob that's his first choice.
Yeah.
The problem I have with Allegri is the fact that he's achieved what he's achieved in a league where for 4 of the 5 years there was no competition.
Yeah.
The 5th year Napoli pushed them, but there was no competition for the other 4 years. But also he was working with elite players at an elite club. At Arsenal, you're not working with elite players.
No.
You've got to get your hands dirty and really make non-elite players. And I'm not sure that's his forte. I think a bit like Pep. I think he works well with the best. I think a tier or 2 down, I question whether he'll be able to.
I just want to touch on this because I know a lot of the viewers now, they're shouting, oh, Allegri won the league with AC Milan. Because he did win the league with AC Milan.
Yeah.
But it was also
Long
Zlatan.
time ago.
And that summer Zlatan left, AC Milan and Allegri finished 10th.
Yeah.
So you could link it as much to Zlatan as you can link that to Allegri.
true.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't use that as too much weight. And I look at Allegri and I look at Tottenham and the way they let Pochettino go, having already talked to Mourinho to get him in. If we were serious about Allegri, it would have been done by now.
Yeah,
It's a week.
100%.
He's free. Why? We're not
We
interested.
couldn't afford him as well. We couldn't afford.
You say that, but
Yeah, I
at
don't
the
think
same
the
time, I
money's
think we
anything to do
can.
with
Well, it shouldn't be an issue, but he'd want to be the highest paid manager in the league.
No.
I think he would.
Who is he?
Pep's on 20
He
million,
can't say
isn't
that.
Okay, maybe not Pep. Maybe
You
not.
can't say that.
He
either.
can't say
I
that.
agree.
I think he would want that.
He can't even touch Klopp's wage, let alone Mourinho or Pep.
he? No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
If I've won 5 titles, I want.
And when you look at the Premier League, the money, the money in the league is so great that Wenger was the highest paid manager in Europe at Arsenal at one point for years.
He was.
Do you get me? So the Premier League money and the even La Liga, Simeone's on that 3 million a year, 4 million a year. Or he was up until the recent contract. That's tuppence to English
that's
managers. I
pay.
think Rodgers might be on that. But this is a man that's won La Liga with Real and Barca. This is a man that's been Champions League final twice on a shoestring budget because anytime they do so, 100 million Griezmann, 100 million Felix comes in. It's not like they go all out for...
Yeah.
And I want to touch on Simeone because reports today have said that Atletico and Simeone are looking at a divorce. That was the headline. And I can't lie. If that's the case,
That's a good manager.
forget Poch now. Simeone, because that's the man I put on a level with Pep and Guardiola. Those 3 managers bring in an aura. They bring something about them where they command respect.
Yes.
If Simeone comes in and the players act in any way disrespectful, then players can fuck off. It's not Simeone that can fuck off because I'll trust that man to bring real men into this squad.
Yes.
That 100% every game, determination, transition, energy. That's what I trust with Simeone. So I just want to touch on him briefly. Mars, I can see you nodding the whole way. If he's available, would you take him ahead of Rodgers?
Yeah. Over Rodgers?
Yeah.
Oof. That's 50-50 for me, I'm not going to lie. It's 50-50. No, because
I'm not sure.
at the end of the day, you got to remember, it's still the Premier League. It's different to the Spanish League.
Yeah.
We know what Brendan Rodgers can do here, and he's proven here. So, with that being said, I don't know. It's still 50-50 for me. But Simeone is a top tier manager. Like you said, he's gonna get men in here.
Yeah.
If you're not playing for him and you're not playing for the club, you're out.
I can't lie though. 4 or 5 years ago, when United hired Jose and City hired Pep, a lot of people were saying Pep doesn't know the league. He doesn't know what he's in for.
But look at his first
Same
season.
with Klopp. Everyone said he doesn't know what he's in for. That's Germany.
Look at his first
but
season.
the risks have. Look at what the risks have.
Eventually,
turned
you
out
probably
to.
get it right. We can afford right now where we are in the league and how our club is at the current state right now. We can afford to give him a bit of time, Simeone.
Yeah.
We're not like Man City are putting another manager need to win the league the next season. So with that being said, we could give him time, but something's just telling me Brendan Rodgers. I think it's his time, man. But Simeone, he's a good manager. I'll take him.
It's funny you mentioned the thing you like about Simeone is that he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. He'll smash man's head against the wall. He'll do that. The person who I wanted when Wenger left, who reminds me of that, but also done bits in the Premier League, is Conte.
I like Conte.
I like Conte, and I think we should have gone for Conte after Wenger left. I know there would have been a difference in style of what we're used to, but he knows the league. He doesn't have any nonsense. He can work with limited players. The problem with him though is that after 2-3 years, him and the board start beefing, and it kind of goes
he
pear
didn't
shaped.
like it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but he's a guy that if Juventus kick him out in the summer, he should be on the list.
It's
as well.
highly unlikely. That's
Where's he at?
It's not though. Sorry, Inter. It's
He's
not,
doing well though, isn't he?
He's doing very well.
He is, but that doesn't mean anything. In Italy, they win leagues and beef and go their separate
But
ways.
I think
so.
he left Chelsea because he was more like he wanted to go back home, and he didn't like the media here, the pressure involved
A lot of
here.
pressure,
He revolutionised the league. He brought three at the back to this league. And then every other 17 other teams followed that season.
And flopped.
Do you get me? 17 other
We tried it, didn't we?
We tried it. We would be the 17th team to try it.
Chamberlain at wing back and that.
We did try it, but that's something that he brought to the league. Do you get me? So obviously with Conte, I like him. I just believe that I'd put Rodgers ahead, I'd put Simeone, Poch ahead, I'd put a lot more people ahead of him.
Can I just say also as well, I think we need to also start thinking out the box. We've named a handful of name brand managers we've all heard of. Maybe the time for Arsenal, because I was saying to you guys upstairs, we're on the floor. And I think the time is maybe now for a gamble. So there's a guy, I've forgotten his name, at River, who apparently is going to, do you know about him?
Yeah, Gallardo.
I'm hearing good things about him. Maybe we need to look a little bit beyond the obvious 5 or 6 managers for guys that haven't got the name brand name or the titles, but have a philosophy, have a plan, are good with players, and are more modern. That might be the way to go forward, rather than kind of trying to reinvent the wheel. Maybe look out the box and just
I've got
the Ajax
two.
manager. Go on.
Yeah, like you said, Ajax manager Erik ten Hag, he was one of them. Good philosophy, knows how to play good ball. Obviously, Ajax is the biggest club in Holland, but
he's changed them.
He's changed them a lot. He's changed them a lot.
Yeah.
But what he's done over the past 2 seasons is incredible. But my wild card, like I told you, is Eddie Howe. That worries
me, man.
Everyone,
That really worries
I've said
me.
it on all platforms. I've said it on my Twitter. I've said it. Eddie Howe is a good manager. Just because his name's got Eddie Aldinho and he's not from, or Eddie Allegri's not.
I'm not sure about Eddie Howe, you know.
Look what he's done with Bournemouth. Bournemouth is a solidified club now in the Premier League. They are, and he's got them there. He's got them playing a system. He actually coaches his players.
He does.
He's got Callum Wilson. He's got King. He's got these guys playing good football. They're even in the England team now, and this is due to Eddie Howe.
I tell you the 2 things for me that go against Eddie Howe. One, if you look at his transfers over the time in the Premier League, a lot of his bigger buys in particular don't work out. He's very good at making £1 million, £2 million players
Jordan
better.
Ives and
But his big transfers have not been good.
They're
And the
not
other
been good
reason
at
why
all,
I don't
have
think he's ever got linked to a top club seriously is for all the good football they play going forward, they let in a lot of goals. And if you're a top club, this might sound weird, but I think if you're a top club, you're looking at Deitch before Howe, because at least Deitch and Espirito Santos have proven that they can have the team that can defend properly and keep clean sheets. Eddie Howe will win games with Bournemouth 5-3, 4-2.
Yeah, but it's Bournemouth though. It's Bournemouth. They're not going to have the massive budget. If we give him a budget,
But Sean Deitch doesn't have a big budget.
but it's just different philosophies.
Yeah.
I understand, and right now we're in a turmoil place. We need defensive players.
Yeah.
But I think going forward, like I said, it's my wild card. I think Eddie Howe is a good manager. It's a good.
I think he's got
solid
to
English manager.
prove that he can stop doing these mad 8-game wins, 8-game loses, 8-game wins, 8-game. I think he's got to
but
prove
I know
that he
it's
can.
understanding
so
that
it's
Bournemouth.
hard. Yeah,
he's
it's
at
hard.
Bournemouth.
It's hard for but the 8-game wins with Bournemouth is very good. It's like,
It's good, yeah.
What's
this is
happened
Bournemouth
there?
here. So if we get some good coaches behind him and a budget and someone who can shore up that defence, someone like Per Mertesacker that's around the club and he bringing his coaches that can help him as well, I think he might be able to do something. Possibly. He might be able to do something.
The thing is as well, when you look at it, we've never appointed an elite manager. No, Wenger wasn't
That's
elite.
true.
George Graham
That's
wasn't.
true.
Emery isn't quite elite.
Yeah.
So I actually think we do need the elite manager.
I think the elite manager has only really come about recently. I think early on when I was watching football, did you really look around Europe and see a Pep Guardiola, a Jurgen
And who's
Klopp?
elite now? Apart from Pep, Klopp, Ancelotti and Simeone, who's really certified?
That's the name, Ancelotti, because we've been rumoured to him as well, and I do not want him.
It feels a bit tired.
Solid
to me,
manager
a
though.
bit.
Solid.
Definitely,
player.
definitely. He's got the best CV out of everyone we've been linked with, no doubt. 3 Champions Leagues, I think he's only like one of 2 managers or 3 managers that has done that. Multiple league titles everywhere he's been.
My fear with him would be a little bit like United getting Louis van Gaal. it would be, are we getting him on the wrong side of the hill?
That's it. That's my thing.
Just at the wrong time. Is he on the? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels
Maybe
a little bit
short
tired to
term.
me.
Maybe short
Maybe
term.
short term.
I just
Rafa.
I know what you mean.
Oh,
Nah,
Rafa.
nah,
I'm not a big fan of Rafa.
I
He's got
Ten
no
Hag,
personality either.
that is a good shout because if I'm going to wait till the end of the season for a manager, it's going to be Ten Hag or Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann, I'm going to say.
One of them
next,
two.
Yeah.
And that's the only two I'm waiting for. I'm not waiting for no other manager because they come with a philosophy, a style of play similar to what we talked about.
I think he might be United next year. I think if they don't get Poch in the summer, I think Nagelsmann will be the next Man United manager.
I reckon if we don't go for Poch will be at United by January, February.
Yeah, I reckon as well.
I think he's going to go to Man United.
Yeah, just
Well,
like
he's
that.
If we don't
gone
go for
soon, innit?
Manchester
United won't mess about. United
Definitely.
are already planning for life without Ole. They might be saying the right things and Ole's saying the right things, but behind the
Definitely.
scenes, they've talked to
They're
someone
ready, yeah.
that they want.
Definitely.
They're not like us. They actually mean business.
I just think football, the way how football's going forward now, it's just evolutionised. Like, we just need to move forward. So when we link to these like managers, Jose Mourinho and Ancelotti, and yeah, they've done stuff.
Think
then.
out the box. Let's move
Yeah,
forward.
let's move forward.
Yeah,
There's
I
younger
agree.
players now.
I agree.
Players need coaching. They don't need shouting at. You need to put your arm around these players. I'm not saying they don't do that, but we just need to move forward
So
with
you
the
want a
times.
younger, like, fresher
Yeah, younger,
coach.
fresher,
Yeah.
vibrant. Bring
Even if
something
they-
nice
I
to the
don't
club.
mind.
Even if they're not necessarily young, but they must have new ideas.
Yes.
And I don't think Jose, Ancelotti they don't have new ideas.
Yeah.
I want a guy that's got new ideas.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well, to be honest, I think we've gone through a nice list of managers there.
Yeah.
Before we round it up, let's finish off with your top two choices. Obviously, you've said Rodgers for number one. Who would be your
Rodgers
backup
number
if
one.
it didn't work out?
I mean, I'm thinking around that. I'd probably go Ancelotti short term.
So it'd be Rodgers or
Just for a
Ancelotti
couple
for you,
years,
yeah?
yeah.
And Jordan, what about you?
I would go like for Poch. My backup would be Nagelsmann.
End of the season.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Freddie in charge until then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Miles?
I'll go all out for Brendan Rodgers, and if not, then Pochettino.
Okay. And I'll round up with Pochettino, and if not, end of the season, Ten Hag or Nagelsmann.
Yeah, Ten Hag at the end of the season.
That would be my choice anyway.
I
give
think it'll
Freddie
be
the
Nuno
platform.
gets the job though.
I don't want him. He was a
I don't-
keeper.
I think
don't
he
want
will get the
I'm
job.
trying not to talk about him so the Arsenal board don't see this and say, yes, they've talked about it, let's get him.
Sorry, but I think he will get it simply because I think he's the low-hanging fruit. I think he's the easy get for Arsenal.
Arteta is even
Well, if
lower than that.
Yeah, but I think they know they'll be alright if Arteta got the job.
If rumours
not
of
for me.
money are to be believed as usual, yeah, we can't even fucking sign a manager. We have no money. Do you get me? So I understand that, where that comes
It's
from
an
with the
easy get
Nuno
for them.
Santos.
I think he will get the job.
Definitely.
I'll be disappointed if we got.
do not want
I'll
him.
be so disappointed if we got.
Definitely.
I like him.
Disappointed. He's a good manager.
But it's better.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
there's,
better.
there's a lot better, man.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on, we need to start striving for the league. Nuno, I'm not, no disrespect to him, but nah.
100%, 100%. So people, this has been Supporters Club. Obviously, let us know what you think about the managerial candidates in the comments below. Thanks for Curtis for coming on as usual, Jordan,
Yeah,
once
man.
again.
Come on.
And Mars, your
Thanks for
little
having me.
debut on Supporters Club. Hopefully have you back soon. This has been the Supporters Club, people. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe, do all of that stuff. Until the next time I'm out.